You're certainly full of surprises, aren't you?
Trust me, it's not intentional.
Sorry, that was insensitive of me. Though, there's still an awful lot I wish I could understand. Every new piece of information seems only to yield further mysteries. The truth feels just as elusive as when we first started. I am well aware of where you got your powers. But why, as a Danon, do you bear the same crest as the current Renin sovereign? More to the point, why choose a Danon for their sovereign in the first place? And then there is the Maiden, a figure so powerful, she's playing yin to the sovereign's yang in esoteric ceremonies. And yet, I've never even heard of her. Then again, this all occurred 300 years ago. What if the term sovereign doesn't even hold the same meaning as it did back then? Listen, I may be a traitor among my people, but I am still Renin, born and raised. I learned the same history, listened rapt to the same tales. And yet now I feel like there was little truth to any of it.
Speaking of which, there's something else that I remember from the spirit channeling ceremony. It used the Renis Alma.
You're certain?
Yes. Or at least that's what they called it. Only you would know if it was one and the same.
Oh, I have never laid eyes on the real artifact myself. And you never participated in a crown contest. You're not even Renin. Many mysteries lay buried in these 3 centuries past.
3 centuries is more than several lifetimes. Was I really out that long?
Well, I'm only estimating based on historical record. But all the facts would seem to point that way.
Who the hell am I?
If I may be frank, we have even bigger fish to fry than that. By comparison, the far more important question at hand is, just what does it all mean?
Frank, huh?
Sometimes, we need a little help in addressing the truth behind our pain. Not to compete over lives lost, but I suspect your count is still somewhat beneath mine.
Thanks for lending me an ear. And sorry for being a bother.
Please, no thanks are necessary. The quicker you get back on your feet, the sooner we can all get back out there.
All this time, I thought it was the worrying about Shion and the pain bringing you down. I didn't realize you were lonely too.
I guess all of us are. In one way or another.
Yeah, but you've only just found out. I mean, no, not found out. Remembered.
To tell you the truth, I was actually beginning to forget I'd even lost my memory in the first place. Now that it's returned, well, you can see what I'm like. It's strange. When I think about Lenegus, it still feels like it was only a year or 2 ago that I was there. But then I realized what feels like years was actually centuries ago.
What about your hometown? Do you know if it's still there?
I doubt it. When the Renins invaded, the world as I knew it changed overnight. Even if the place is still there physically, I expect the people will be long gone. Certainly everyone I knew, at least. My family, my friends.
Yeah, I know how that feels. I have no home to return to either. No family waiting for me. I used to curse my bad luck that I'd ever been born a mage in the first place. Otherwise, if I hadn't, maybe my mother and father would still be alive today. Although if that had been the case, I guess I'd probably still be just another slave with no means to resist. I'd never have met up with you guys, that's for sure.
Have you learned to embrace your powers yet?
Nuh-uh. I resent them a little less than before, though. They've kept me alive this long, right? I try not to think about it too much. After all, who can predict what the future will hold? I guess what I'm trying to say is that with everything that's happened in your past, finding out you're the Sovereign and all, it's no wonder you're conflicted. Heck, honestly, I think anyone would be.
Rinwell.
First it was Shion, then it was me, and now it's you. All of us suffering, just because of some power we never even asked for.
Yeah. All this time you were suffering right in front of me, and I never even knew. I feel like I finally understand what you and Shion were going through.
You couldn't have known. Still, if you want to make it up to her, shouldn't we hurry it up and rescue her already? Poor Shion must be lonely, all by herself wherever she is.
Yeah, you're right. Let's get going. What do you see out there?
Zeugles. Strays by the looks of it. We unwittingly disturbed their territory on our way here, and now they're looking pretty riled up. So, feel like you're making headway? You know, sorting through things?
All I know is Shion needs our help. As for what happens after that...
Say, how did you get back down here from Lenegis anyway?
I came down in a Renan starship. I have Naori to thank for that.
What happened to her? Did she come with you?
She stayed behind. Just as I wanted to get back to Dana and my people, Naori's place was with her fellow Renans, performing her duties as the Maiden. Neither of us asked for the power or roles we were given. I suppose we felt a kinship with each other in that sense. But even then...
Wait, so you mean it wasn't just Danans like you that Lenegis abducted? You're saying they forced Naori, one of their own, to serve against her will as well?
Even within Renan society itself, there exists a hierarchy. I don't think she was ever given the option to refuse. Despite that, she did everything she possibly could to serve her people. The very same ones I ended up slaughtering. And even after that, she still helped me escape back to Dana. She stayed behind on Lenegis to help any of her people who survived. I owe her more than words can express. A debt left to fester for what? 300 years? How do I even begin to make up for something like that?
In all honesty, you don't. You can't atone for what's happened in the past. I don't think anyone can. Be it several centuries ago, or just yesterday.
What are you saying? That I might as well give up?
I'm saying you don't have to be a white knight in shining armor. Back after my brother had passed away, it was you who told me that his dream lived on inside me. And you did the same for him, for Dohalim, when he was ready to give up too. You were there for both of us. You know what I heard? I heard you telling me to keep fighting, to strive no matter what.
And I was out of line. I had no right to ask that of you.
No, you're wrong. Those words were exactly what I needed to hear at the time. In fact, I would go as far as to say that I wouldn't even be here had I not heard them. Left to my own devices, who knows when I would have been able to pick myself up. Besides, it's not like killing all those people was a choice that you made of your own free will, right? The truly terrible ones are the people who abducted you. The ones who forced you to wield that power. They're the ones you should be blaming. Not only that, but that guilt you feel inside, that's all the proof you need to know you're a good person, Alphen. Do you understand? If I'm still allowed to fight and keep on living, then damn it, Alphen, so the hell are you. But, if you're still not convinced, then ask yourself this. What is it that you've really been fighting for this whole time? Go on, ask yourself.
What I've been fighting for, huh?
Alphen, are we gonna go rescue Shion or what? What's gotten into you, man? Aren't you worried about her?
Do I even have any right to be?
If you were in my place, you'd say, to hell with all that. What do you want to do?
Sounds like me. Pretending I have all the answers is kinda my forte.
Come on, man, snap out of it. This isn't like you. Look, I get it. You finally remember your past, only to feel like you've lost yourself again. You're in shock, and who wouldn't be? Worse still, you blame yourself for what happened. And yeah, I don't agree, but that doesn't mean I don't understand either. But here's the thing. None of that's got anything to do with Shion.
I guess.
It's about Naori, isn't it? Look, you're still here, aren't you? Who's to say this chick isn't alive and kicking out there somewhere, too? Fine, I've said my piece. The thing is, though, where does this leave Shion?
My power consumed me once already. I left behind a path of fire and destruction. And the same thing could happen again. I can't guarantee anyone's safety, including Shion's.
So you think we might get burned up because of your sovereign powers? I can think of worse ways to go. Come on, fight this thing! What happened to the guy who talked to me after my dad died? The one who cared enough to reach out and save me? That's the guy I was proud to follow. Not this faltering imposter who's taken his place.
Law.
No, I'm serious. What's gotten into you, man? Just give me the word and I'll beat some sense into you if that's what it takes. Now, I'm gonna ask you this once and only once. Are you serious about rescuing Shion or not? What's it gonna be, Alphen?
What do you think? Of course I want to rescue her. Hell, I'd do it right now if I could.
So then quit griping and do it already!
Listen, you're probably right about all this.
Alphen.
It's exactly like you said. Whatever happened in my past has nothing to do with Shion. But there's still so much that There I go again. So much for the inspiring Alphen of old.
He could be a pain sometimes. Besides, even a hero has to let the cracks show once in a while, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Just give me a little more time to fill in the cracks. And thanks, Law.
Hey, don't even mention it. You've totally got this, Alphen. I believe in you.
Back to the inn, I guess.
There you are!
What is it?
Zeugles, that's what! They're almost at the village gates!
Any closer and they'll be house hunting. I knew we shouldn't have cut through their territory.
That sounds bad.
Can you fight? No shame in bowing out if you're not up for it.
Kisara's right. You don't want to go overdoing it.
I'm up for it.
Really?
You ready?
As ready as I'll ever be. It's now or never, right?
Alphen, right! Great to have you back! Now let's do this!
Look sharp! People, if we don't act fast, they're going to get into the village.
Right. We need to hurry.
remember, if the pain's too much...
We've all got our own pain to deal with. I'm done letting others pick up my slack.
Here they come! We can't let even a single one through!
There's a firm no-Google policy.
Fine by me. Let's get to work then.
Is it hot? Dispatch it out again!
Now you see what I can do. Now I'm in the groove.
Here I come! I'm on it! You're finished!
Eagle Fly!
Thomas is strong!
Split it open!
Be my guest!
Dragon Swarm! Goodwill! Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
Now! Here I come!
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah! And to me!
Here comes! Lightning Orb! Can't fly!
You're mine! You're finished! Take this! You're finished!
Please
This
now.
one's all mine!
You make me angry!
That's my cue!
That was a bad idea.
Shut him down!
Guardian
Eternal devastation!
Shattering the pieces!
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malachor!
All good things
Go
come
in.
to me.
Eat dirt!
Take this!
Lightning Orb!
Now you see what I can do!
Eternal devastation! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Alphen, you okay?
I'm fine. This pain thing really hurts, huh?
But hey, at least you're still alive.
It wouldn't be called pain if it was pleasant. It can be pretty useful, though. It's good motivation to improve and get stronger.
Guess I've got a lot of room to improve in that regard.
Anyway, I'm glad we could protect the village, especially after everything they've done for us.
Yeah.
You know, Thistleum kind of reminds me of home. The people here have hidden themselves away out of the fear of being found, always watching their backs. Though in the end, home was destroyed anyway.
That won't happen here.
Oh? Is that a hint of fighting spirit I sense?
Yeah. I won't lie. Some of these memories will take a while to process. But I've learned something too. My rage, this fury I feel at our so-called rulers, it comes from having so much of myself stripped away from me back then. Friends, family, home. They took everything from me, and left me with nothing but guilt. I was completely alone. At least that's what I thought. But not anymore. Since I awakened, I've met people who I care about. Friends who hold me up. Friends who make me feel like I'm worth something. And I won't lose that. Not ever again. I'll protect those bonds with everything I have. That's why I need to keep fighting.
But Shion comes first.
Of course. First we rescue Shion, then we defeat Voron, and liberate Dana. Everyone, will you fight with me?
Say the word and I'm there.
Certainly no objections.
Then it's agreed. Our next stop will be the capital, Pelegion. According to the villagers, there's a huge cliff separating Thistleum from the capital. Luckily for us, there's a path we can use to climb up.
Sounds like a plan. Let's go.
We don't know what lies ahead. We should prepare well before we venture forth.
Yeah, can't exactly fight at the top of your game when you're hungry.
Good point. Let's stop by the inn and plan our next move from there.
Looks like we've spotted one of Hoodle's friends.
By the way, how is Mahavar doing? Wait, don't tell me we still haven't found him.
It's not like we haven't been looking. I've covered the whole length and breadth of the coast, but...
All of the other crew members are accounted for, including us. But we weren't able to find Mahavar. He's still missing.
I see.
Perhaps he couldn't bring himself to abandon the ship.
You mean at the bottom of the ocean? Damn it.
We don't know that it sank. We all washed up on the same shore. If the ship went down, isn't it strange we haven't come across a single piece of debris?
Do you think he might still be alive somewhere out there?
I think stranger things have happened. Whether he's alive or otherwise, we've exhausted all the avenues available to us. All we can do now is press on ahead.
Fine, let's get going. Thistlein was founded by Danans fleeing the tyranny of Renan lords, right? But when you first came, they must have known Dohalim was Renan. So why do you think they let us in?
They almost didn't. But it wasn't just Dohalim they were wary of. They didn't trust any of us.
Even the weird Danans just like them?
When you live life in constant fear of being pursued, it's only a matter of time before all outsiders start to seem a potential threat.
I suppose that makes sense. So how did you convince them to trust us?
You saw how destitute the village was. They needed food, badly. We hunted some Zeugles for them. That seemed to do the trick.
Of course, a little magic-assisted roast didn't hurt things.
Never underestimate a full stomach's ability to put a person at ease. It turns out a hearty meal can be a powerful weapon. Something's on your mind. You having second thoughts about rescuing Shion?
Of course not. Shion's our friend. Almeidrea was the one I hated. For as long as I can remember, she served as a symbol to me of everything Renan. But ever since getting to know Shion, I realized it doesn't make sense to group people together like that. Every individual is different.
I see.
Besides, the situation with Almeidrea was something else entirely. I'd already decided I wasn't going to kill her, but when I saw her die right in front of me, a part of me thought it served her right, that she'd gotten what she deserved. But another part regretted that someone else had come along and killed her instead. Don't get me wrong. If I had the chance again, I still wouldn't kill her. But it's not like I'll be shedding any tears now that she's gone. It's all so confusing. I don't know how to make sense of any of it.
Who said it had to make sense?
Huh?
Rinwell, you've done nothing wrong. You've started to question the beliefs you've held all your life. It's only natural for you to feel disoriented. You didn't give in to the hatred you felt for Almeidrea. You made a choice not to kill her. And that's significant, whether you realize it or not. As for what it means exactly, that might be worth taking some time to figure out on your own.
Some time.
Or don't, if you don't want to. It's just an idea. I'm still searching too, remember?
No, I think you're right. It can't hurt to keep searching after all. And hey, thanks, Kisara. I think Hoodle senses an owl around here.
It feels like I'm melting.
Calaglia was pretty hot, but at least the air there was dry. Out here, it feels like I'm trying to walk through thick soup.
I can hardly breathe, it's so stuffy. And don't get me started on the insects. You hanging in there, Hoodle?
It's brutal, all right. I can feel my energy being drained away just by walking. All this vegetation makes it hard to keep an eye out. Keep your wits about you, everyone. And watch you don't keel over while you're at it.
What's needed at times like these is a relaxing hot spring. That would soon help us adjust.
And where do you expect us to find one of those?
What about you, Alphen? All that gear, and you hardly seem to be breaking a sweat.
Yeah, I guess when you've lived a life devoid of pain for as long as I have, even feeling hot and bothered could be a welcome change.
Well, lucky you, I guess. Just don't expect us to carry you when you pass out.
This place is thick with foliage.
I know. It feels like we're going to be swallowed up by all these plants if we stay in here.
Indeed. I much prefer the forests in Menancia myself.
Not that I don't agree, but maybe now's not the best time for Elda Menancia pride.
What's up?
Once we get to the mountain, the terrain won't be easy. We should rest up here before pressing on.
But what about Shion? She's waiting for us.
All the more reason to conserve our energy.
Huh?
It's not only the mountain. Hard though that may be, it's a pittance compared to what follows. Namely Volron. We wear ourselves out now, or worse still, get injured. We might as well show up gift-wrapped. Right, Kisara?
That's right. Besides, Alphen still hasn't fully recuperated yet.
I'm fine. Don't stop on my account.
Oh, really? Well, in that case, it's me who wants to take a rest for a while. Does that suit you better?
A little bit.
So, Alphen, 300 years, huh? Care to share the secret to such a long and healthy life?
I wish I knew. Once I left Lenegis, the next thing I remember is waking up in Calaglia. Everything in between is a blank.
You mean there are still gaps in your memory?
I've heard of starships with devices that can stave off imminent death by putting their passenger into a deep sleep. They're usually only intended as a temporary solution, until proper treatment for an ailment or injury can be obtained.
You think he might have been asleep in that starship for 300 years? But why? What would be the point?
Might this Naori have had a hand in it?
What do you mean?
If she's Renin like you say she is, she would have understood how to operate the starship better than yourself.
You're saying she deliberately put me to sleep for 300 years?
Dohalim, that's a bit of a leap.
Forgive me. I spoke out of turn. I'm merely thinking aloud, that's all. Shion and the maiden Naori. After 300 years, it's not unreasonable to suspect they may be related. Shion is nearly the perfect image of her, yes? She also just so happens to be connected to you. Is it merely a coincidence?
Like I've told you 1,000,000 times already, I wouldn't know.
Well, if you're absolutely certain that it couldn't have been Naori, then I guess I must have been mistaken. Complicated machinery can sometimes break down or have failures. Sorry for being presumptuous.
Hold on a sec. Alphen, you said the mask was to placate you, right? To keep your guilt and rage in check? And you were wearing it the whole time you were asleep, right?
I guess I must have been.
So that's 300 years you were wearing it. It's just a hunch, but do you think that the mask might be...
The reason he lost all his memories?
All but a select few strong ones, so deeply ingrained in his psyche that he saw them in the form of dreams. It's not completely out of the question.
In which case, maybe it was the mask numbing his sense of pain, too.
It's certainly possible. As for how, I wouldn't know, but the dampening effect on his psyche could have manifested itself physically as well.
I'm sorry for snapping at you back there. It's thanks to you that I feel like that we're finally getting somewhere with all this.
No apologies necessary. Reading others' feelings has never been my strong suit.
So he finally admits it.
I really hope Shion's okay.
I get why you're concerned. But if you don't rest when you can, you're going to regret it.
She's right. We need our rest to conserve our strength.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks, you two.
No problem. We'll save Shion. I know we will.
Looks perfect and tastes just as good.
Alone. I'm all alone.
Let's go. We don't want to keep Shion waiting.
What do you... I always hear you muttering to yourself whenever we're in battle. So, just what are you saying?
Why do you want to know? Does it bother you or something?
Not really. It's just the way you talk is sometimes kind of creepy. So I was wondering if you vent your frustration through your magic. Are you yelling, "You stupid jerk," or something like that to pump yourself up?
What? No, that's not what's happening during my incantations. I'm just focused, so I match my tone to fit the mood of whatever I'm trying to invoke.
Invoke?
How do I put it? Basically, the elemental astral energy behind each art, I guess.
Astral energy? Hold on, are you saying you can talk to astral energy?
Not exactly. But if I put emotion into what I say, it's easier for me to properly cast my arts. That makes sense?
Kind of. Okay, so if you can talk to astral energy, then you can ask it to, like, predict the weather or find secret treasure?
Wait, you don't really think that, do you?
Or you can ask it to send down lightning to where there's bad guys lurking and...
May lightning condemn those who bear false. Thunderblade!
Ah, what are you doing? You almost fried me with that!
I just asked the astral energy to send down lightning where there were annoying boys.
I don't know what to do. Things can't go on like this.
What do you mean?
Ah! Oh, it's you, Rinwell.
You were talking about me, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. I've just been thinking about some things.
Really? How unusual.
Cut it out. I'm being serious here.
Sorry.
I was thinking about... You know how I used to work for Ganabelt back when I was in Cyslodia?
Yeah, of course. You were brought in after the Snake Eyes killed your friends, right? I mean, you had to.
Right. I used to have nightmares about it when I fell asleep. But lately that's been happening a lot less. I don't know how to feel about that.
That's a good thing, isn't it? You should be happy.
Yeah, but... I did a lot of terrible things back then. And I'm scared I'm starting to forget what I did.
Okay, so let me just get all of this straight. You think you'll forget everything if you stop having those nightmares? Why?
Because... You know me. I'm freaking stupid.
But it sure doesn't sound to me like you've forgotten.
Oh, yeah. But still.
I don't think those nightmares going away means you've forgotten. Maybe it's a sign that you've come to terms with what you did.
Come to terms? You mean like Alphen with his past? You think that's what's happening?
Yeah, I do. You're pretty amazing, Law.
I am?
Yeah. Not all of us have figured out how to accept our pasts. Least of all, me.
Rinwell.
That's what we're going to climb?
The villagers managed it on their escape from the city. We're going in the opposite direction, but where there's a will...
There's always a way, right? And it looks like we're out of options. Let's grit our teeth and go. Is it just me, or does Rinwell suddenly seem much more comfortable around Dohalim than she used to?
I noticed that too. When the two of them came and found me together back on the beach, I could hardly believe my eyes.
It's not like we had a choice or anything. Law and Kisara had to hang back to convince the villagers we meant them no harm. More than that, though. There are a lot of things I've still got to come to terms with regarding Almeidrea. But I guess I'm through making snap judgments based on someone's origin. At least, I'm trying to be. I guess you could say it's a work in progress.
I see. You hear that, Law? Sounds like all that hard effort wasn't for nothing.
Yeah.
That's got to be reassuring to hear. Right, Dohalim?
Not being subjected to unwarranted suspicion is certainly welcome.
Yeah, that long-winded way you have of talking, though? Not so much a fan of that.
I think that's more of a personality thing than a Renin trait.
Really? In that case, I won't have to feel guilty getting annoyed by it.
Looks like trouble with Capital T!
Together, we've got this!
Tear you apart! Crush! Dragon Swarm!
It's a duel of the arms!
It's over!
Get behind me!
Illuminate the dark!
No further! It's over! Crush!
That's it!
Sonic Thrust!
Tiger Blade!
Take this!
We may get out of this alive after all.
It would be bad for a minute.
I'm pretty sure we can handle it.
see what I can do! I'm not First strike! Talon Hurricane! Eternal Devastation! Eat dirt! Make it rain! Kisara! All yours, Kisara!
This should make for some good weapon crafting material. Crap. This injury hurts more than I thought. Shion, sorry, but could you... Oh. Right.
Brace yourselves! This one's tough! You're finished!
One
Sonic thrust!
Hold on to your arm. Here I come.
Eternal Devastation!
You see what happened there as you crossed?
Escape!
Shouldn't have done that.
Holy Land!
Pierce through!
Eat this!
Too fast!
Stand tight. I'll trip it up.
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life! And done!
Let's keep up
You're
the pace.
mine! You're finished!
Lightning orb! Not on my watch!
You picked the wrong fight!
Now!
Eagle assault! Shattering up pieces!
I'm not done!
Attack time!
Sonic thrust!
Now you see what I do it!
Dragon form!
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! Well, looky here.
Looks like trouble with capital T!
Together, we've got this! Take this! You're finished!
Going in.
Sonic thrust!
Illuminate the dark. Come forth.
You're mine!
Holy Land.
Leave the ensnaring to me. Yeah! And trouble!
This one's mine.
Eternal Devastation!
The enemy feels ours too.
We'll soon see about that.
Try harder! My turn! This one's all mine! Eat dirt! Here I come!
I'm gone.
Crush!
Now,
It's over!
We may get out of this alive after all.
Sonic thrust!
Yeah,
Try
things were looking
harder!
bad
Now
for
you've
a
gone
minute
and
there.
kicked me. I'm pretty sure we can handle
hold on
anything.
to your art. Here I come.
You're mine!
Prepare to be sealed!
Sleep now.
In a bind?
I'll take you all on. Ha! Flare the Molotov!
Dopamine! In an instant! Impact block!
Magic is in.
Going in! No escape! Dragon swarm!
Ready to go! Far enough!
Tectonic punch! The astral energy is surging around me.
How do you even know about all that astrally stuff?
Same way I know what you do in the middle of the night.
What? Are you serious?
What's this thing?
Ow!
This one's all mine!
I'm gone!
You picked the wrong
Give me a
fight!
sip!
Try harder!
That gel hiding something tasty.
Eternal! No armor can stop me! It's over!
Remind me to stand at this time.
I'm on! Sonic thrust!
Look sharp!
Roll now!
On guard!
Try harder! Not a chance! Strike! Sonic thrust! Dragon swarm!
Illuminate the dark!
Look sharp! Now! I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life! And done!
Let's keep up the pace!
I can carve through walls!
Go now!
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade! Crumble! Talon
Take this!
Away! In a bind?
You're mine!
This one's mine!
Eat dirt!
Tiger Blade!
Frozen!
Hammer! Next time, do you think we could add some more flames into the mix?
Huh? It's not that easy to adjust, you know. Hi, Hoodle!
Here I come!
Denied!
Lightning condensed!
I'm like bait to them!
Be careful, everyone! This one isn't normal! Take this! It's over!
Tiger Blade!
Take this! Dragon
Go
swarm!
in!
Dance in the
Take
wind!
this! Tiger Blade!
Here I come!
Ringwell!
Frozen!
Hammer!
Nicely done!
Now!
All thanks to you!
You're finished!
Now you see what I can do!
Tiger Blade!
Dragon swarm!
Make it rain! I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
Going in!
I'm on it! Here I come! You're finished!
Illuminate the dark!
Dragon swarm!
Require a hand.
You're mine! Crumble!
This
Dragon
one's
swarm!
mine! You do it!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block! That's what I like to hear.
Oh man, I hope I live long enough to
Eat
regret
dirt!
this.
Dragon swarm!
With a shot!
Illuminate the dark!
Look sharp!
Not a chance! My turn! Now!
Tiger Blade!
An astral art?
That's my cue!
Hold nothing back! Shut him down!
On guard!
Pierce through!
Eat that!
I'll finish
You're
you
mine!
Don't worry, I've got plenty to go around.
This one's dance in the wind!
Dragon swarm! Pierce through! Dragon swarm!
Smash you!
We're cleaning house!
Let me take the rest of them!
Wow, someone's feeling lively!
Tiger Blade!
Eat dirt!
On guard! Make it rain!
Frozen!
Hammer!
Nicely done!
My turn!
All
Take
thanks
this!
to you! Denied!
Hurricane thrust!
Evil dive!
Lewis! Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
Flaming meteor!
Hurricane thrust! You're mine!
I'm on a roll now!
Lunar Rondo!
Going in!
Lunar Rondo!
Crescent
You're mine!
Make it rain!
You're finished!
Demons descend! Flashing fang! Check out these biceps. Pretty glorious, right?
Why are guys so obsessed with their muscles?
Because these puppies have yet to let me down.
I've never stood so close to a waterfall like this before.
I bet it'd feel real refreshing to take a shower underneath this water.
You're welcome to try, but that water pressure would likely crush you to a pulp.
holding back.
This'll be a piece of cake.
Going in. They're surrounding us. That's it. Voron, dance in the wind.
Sonic thrust.
They see us. Swallowed it. Blazing cascade.
Sonic thrust.
Seal. More for the stockpile.
You're mine. Here's your finish. This one's all mine.
Banana, let's go.
Going in. Talent storm. Can't get out of this.
Going in.
Eat dirt.
Look sharp!
Let's do it. It's over.
Oh, I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life. And done.
Hold on
keep
to your
up
heart. Here I come.
Going in!
Just getting started.
Eagle assault. Whirlwind snap.
Raging storm.
Dragon swarm.
Puddle. Voron flat.
Nothing
You're
gets
mine.
by me! I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare Demolisher! Denied!
Raging cascade.
I can feel my power growing.
Seriously? Is this a joke?
Eternal devastation.
Holy land.
Tiger Blade!
Pierce through.
They look cute and stuff, but they're vicious.
It's over.
I'm surrounded.
Dragon swarm.
What's the one you threw? Blow away.
Here I come.
Dance in the wind.
One more.
Crush on it.
Prepare to be sealed.
Blow away. Now, take this. It's over. It's on.
Illuminate the
Dragon swarm.
Holy
I'll tear you apart.
Holy light.
Through. You're finished. Eternal devastation. You picked the wrong fight. Dragon swarm.
It must take guts to fight without a weapon.
I'm not brave. I just do.
Look sharp.
Lightning Tiger Blade. Yes, we don't know our own strength.
You could say that again.
It'll be a breeze. Get in, get out.
Dragon form!
Denied!
Pierce through!
Their arcs were interrupted.
It's over!
Leave an enemy guard to me!
No complaints here.
Hurricane thrust!
Holy land!
Right here. I got you. Tiger Blade!
Its armor's too strong.
Split it open.
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life. And done.
Let's keep up the pace.
Now you see what I can do.
Take this!
It's
over.
Take this. I'm on a roll now.
Take this! It's over!
No further.
Eternal devastation!
Taking too many hits.
Eat dirt!
Now you've gone and ticked me off. Guardian Leo!
You're mine!
I'll take you all on. Ha! Flare the Malisa! This one's tear you apart!
Watch this.
Pierce through! Take this! Dragon form!
I'll smash you.
Pierce through!
I'll tear you apart.
But far enough!
I'm not done! Eternal devastation!
Wind astral energy! Dance in the wind! Air thrust!
Good to know my training is paying off.
We got some good equipment.
I can't say its appearance is to my tastes, personally.
This'll make us even more formidable.
How much farther?
I don't think we're even halfway there yet. Hang in there.
Not even halfway? Are you serious?
That's no reason to give up now.
No choice! Here I come!
Hey, when did I get so popular?
Dragon time! Eternal devastation! You picked the wrong fight!
Now.
Sonic drive!
This one's
Round
mine!
gate!
Igneous discharge!
You're mine! Sonic drive! Dragon swarm!
I'll finish you
Eternal
here!
devastation!
Now you see what I can do!
Take this!
You're finished! We are freaking invincible!
Something in the others truly are strong.
What about me?
Hold on to your art.
My
Here I
turn!
come.
Try harder! Not a chance! Not a chance! My turn!
Lightning condemned.
Never
Don't mind if I
stop.
do.
Try harder!
Nothing gets by
Eat
me!
dirt! Thanks!
Water astral energy.
Ah!
I really owe
Take
you.
this!
Let's
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade! See that?
That training's paying off! Pierce through!
Inferno
Dragon Force!
Tiger Blade!
Pierce through! Eternal
Denied.
devastation!
Now.
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Nice one, Alphen.
Yeah, there's more where that came from.
Judging by the stench, I'd say the animals at the ranch are all grown now.
I always love the sound of hammers banging away.
What is this place?
Careful. We've got company.
Doesn't look like we're getting past without a fight.
Watch your feet. Fall from here and it's curtains.
We're just trying to get past. Get out of our way!
Save your breath! All that thing sees is a talking meal!
So let's show it how wrong it is. Is it trying to stop us?
Nothing wrong!
Hit a worm! Karma!
It looks like you got this one. Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy glimmer! Holy light!
All time down now!
Eat dirt!
Eagle assault!
My head's spinning just watching you. This one's mine.
Dragon swarm!
This one's mine.
Can't be
It's over! I'll finish you here and now!
Pierce through!
Tiger Blade! Its defenses are down.
I'll beat it to dust!
Dance in the wind! Air thrust!
Tiger Blade!
Dance in the wind!
Here I come!
This one's mine.
Now or never.
Let's get you up!
Tiger Blade!
Eagle assault!
Going in.
Cross
Flaming meteor!
Eat this! Done!
Flaming meteor!
Raging cascade!
Ready and rare!
On guard!
Dance in the wind! Air thrust! Its wings are lighting up!
It's getting ready to attack!
Mom, Dad,
You pip!
Such tremendous power.
Don't face it head on.
You're mine! It's this
On
time!
guard! Hey! Watch it!
I still got some fight left in me.
Whirlwind!
Look sharp.
No further! Not
Look
again!
sharp.
You're finished!
Tiger Blade!
Feel!
Swallow
Take
this!
this!
Going in.
You're finished!
Freaking does it! Not my finest.
Far enough.
More for the stockpile!
You picked the wrong fight!
Dragon Swarm!
Let me at it.
Hydration Orb!
Swallow down!
Hit!
This one's mine.
I've let you all down.
Hold on.
It's over!
I'm gone.
I'm not done!
Time to shine. Make it rain.
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
I'm gone.
Take this!
This one's mine.
About to come at us! Look
Get
sharp!
out of this!
It looks like we made 'em mad.
What's mind if I do?
Tiger Blade.
Illuminate the
Time to let it
Come
rip!
forth, Holy Glimmer! Holy Lamp!
It's over!
Poodle!
Oh, you are gonna pay for that!
Anything in armor is
Can't
all
move.
mine. Ready to go. Far enough. Look sharp. That's it. Tiger Blade.
You require a hand.
This one's mine. Guardian Field. All right. Let me at it. Look sharp. Idiot. Crescent Moon. Tiger Blade. On guard. I let my guard down.
Not my finest.
just trying to get past. Get out of our way!
Save your breath! All that thing sees is a talking meal!
Then let's show it how wrong it is! Is it trying to stop us?
Meteor!
Holy Land!
It's on!
Aim for the weak point! I'm gone!
A charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop! Tiger Blade!
I'll finish you here now!
Light action!
I'm
Illuminate the
spinning
dark!
just watching you!
Illuminate Arc Shield!
This one's
Don't mind if I
mine!
do!
Sonic Thrust! Pierce through!
Oh,
It was nice while it
Dance
lasted.
in the wind! Air thrust!
I'm on it!
Light after light!
There you
I'm gone!
Here goes!
now you're talking!
Going in!
Here I come! No escape!
Flaming meteor!
Air thrust!
Here I come! It's over! Eternal devastation!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Its wings are lighting up!
It's getting ready to attack!
Dance in the wind! Air thrust!
Such tremendous power.
Don't face it head on! Far enough!
No escape! It's on!
That frickin' does it! Enjoy the ground while you're down. I can carve through armor!
Photon blast!
This one's mine!
Inferno
Tiger Blade!
Tempest whirl!
Dragon
Flaming meteor!
Eat dirt!
Talon Storm!
Pierce through!
Illuminate the light!
Here I come!
I'll finish you here
Not
now!
on my watch!
Tiger Blade!
Dance in the wind!
Take this!
Crescent
on.
Moon! Tiger
Here
Blade!
I come!
Talon Storm!
You're
Lightning
finished!
orb!
This one's
All
mine!
right, it's
Now!
go!
Pierce through! Dragon Swarm!
Lightning orb!
Eternal
in the wind!
devastation!
Hurricane!
Going in!
Inferno Pump!
Here's the roar!
Strike!
Raging
Sonic
Flaming
Blast!
Meteor! Razor Cyclone!
The earth throbs in pain.
Dance in the wind! Air thrust! Dance in the wind! Air thrust! I'm ready!
Try harder!
Photon
Here I
blast!
come! No escape!
In a bind?
Look sharp!
Eat this!
You're mine!
Talon Tiger
It's on.
Blast you!
It's over! Dragon
Here
Swarm!
goes!
This one's mine!
Swallow Dance!
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
Illuminate the
Talon
dark!
Hurricane!
It's over!
Holy glimmer!
Dragon Swarm!
Different from before.
It's about to come at us! Look sharp!
Watch it!
The enemy is going all out! Tunnel! Dance in the wind!
In field!
In here!
Dance!
Get out of there with the others!
You're finished! Here I come!
One more time!
I'm gone!
Eat dirt!
Raging Cascade! Tiger Blade!
Crust! My turn!
Lightning
Meteor!
Condemn!
Far enough!
Sonic Thrust!
Thunder Blade!
Dragon Swarm!
Illuminate the dark!
Enough!
Here I come!
You require a head.
Hold nothing
Be
back!
all alone here.
Illuminate the dark!
I'm gonna need more.
Holy Glimmer! Holy Land!
I'm gone!
Sonic Thrust!
In a bind?
Dragon Swarm!
Tiger Blade!
Lightning Condemn!
Their arcs were
You're
interrupted!
mine!
Dance in the wind! Air
Here I come!
I'm sorry.
Struck!
Meteor!
This should do it!
Crescent Moon! Tiger Blade!
Try harder! Not
Anything
again!
in armor is all mine!
Look sharp!
Sonic Thrust!
Tiger Blade! Going in!
I'll tear you apart!
Hold on to your armor. Here I
It's
come!
over! Sonic thrust!
Light after
Eternal devastation!
Prepare to be seized!
Its defenses are down.
I'll beat it in a vine!
Illuminate the dark!
This one's mine.
Eat
Holy
dirt!
glitter!
Look sharp.
Holy lance!
Pierce through!
Look sharp.
You're
This is
mine!
one tough
It's
cookie.
over!
Not for much longer, he isn't!
Don't let up till it's all over.
Tempest whirl! Here goes! Go
Going in.
Hurricane thrust!
So now you're getting serious?
Sleep now! Get on it! There with the other!
This should do it!
Crescent moon!
Take this!
Tiger blade!
Sonic thrust! Dragon form!
Look sharp. Crescent moon.
I can carve through armor!
Tiger blade!
I'm on! It's over!
Talon hurricane!
Hurricane thrust!
Lightning orb!
Tear!
Going in.
Illuminate the
The earth
dark!
throbs in pain.
Holy glimmer! Holy lance!
First strike!
Law, you alright?
Yeah,
Illuminate the
I'll be
dark!
okay.
Come forth!
I won't lose.
Leave the
Not
chargers
now,
to me.
not ever.
Look sharp.
Take this!
Here I come!
One more.
Illuminate the
Far
dark!
enough.
Come forth!
Dragon
Holy
form!
glimmer!
Eat dirt!
Piercing roar.
Lance!
I'll tear you apart.
Sonic thrust!
I've let you all down.
Raging cascade!
You have to hold on.
Dance in the wind! Air thrust!
sharp.
Photon flash!
Sonic
Make it
thrust!
rain!
Double me! In an instant! Impact block!
With fauna like that, I'm impressed so many people from Thistle made it through here alive.
Who's to say there weren't a whole lot more of them who didn't?
Well, at any rate, it should be a safer climb now that we've cleared the way a bit, right?
No. So long as people feel the need to face terrain this perilous, I'd say true safety's some way off.
You mean defeating Voron and putting an end to the crown contest, right? I guess that would be the best solution here, huh?
We've wasted enough time here already. Let's get going. Shion needs us.
How are we still not there yet? It feels like we've been climbing this mountain forever.
It helps if you try not to look up or down. All you need is silent determination. Talking too much will only waste energy and burn you out.
I'm too tired to look up or down, even if I wanted to.
Take care you don't fall, at least. Unless you want to make a Zoogel's day, that is.
Zoogles? Why would they care if I fell or not?
How would you feel if a 3-course meal fell right out of the sky at your feet?
Zoogle chow.
Law? Best not to listen to him if you can help it. You'll only be encouraging him if you do.
Tell me that before I listen next time.
Still, Tohalim has a point. One wrong step and it's curtains.
Wouldn't it be great if we could all fly like Hootle? I bet even the refugees who didn't make it would have made it to Thistleum that way.
Until we magically sprout wings, let's just watch where we're stepping instead, okay? Come on. Shion's waiting for us.
We did it. We've reached the top of the mountain.
About damn time. My knees are singing symphonies over here.
Look, there it is!
That's it. That's Pelegion, the seat of Volron's power.
So that's where Shion's being held?
Most likely.
Most likely.
That is what I said, yes.
Pelegion's still our best lead. So that's where we go, right?
Any advice before we head in there?
No.
No?
In the ancient tongue, Ganeth Heros means Fortress of Naught, though I fail to see what insight that nugget of trivia holds.
I guess I just thought you might have something we could use.
Since Volron became Lord, the only thing this realm has been known for is its shroud of secrecy. It is Volron's Stronghold. All else is incidental. Just keep in mind that you can't be too careful inside.
Speaking of which, just how are all of us planning to get inside, exactly?
It's not like there are any secret passages.
We've come this far. If there's no other way in, I guess we'll just have to use the front gate. Voron told us to come find him, which means he's expecting us. Let's do this the old-fashioned way.
Land of water or no, this place has a most curious atmosphere.
I'd be taking a dip in it if the circumstances were better.
Sorry, but we have to push through for now. Shion is waiting.
Yeah, I hear ya. A soak can wait.